Hi, it's Neil McGill here and welcome to episode 3 of my garden golf series. And in this session what we're going to look at is trying to improve your contact with the golf ball by controlling where the low point of your swing is. Now so often in golf, bad shots and poor shots are not particularly caused by bad swings. They're just caused by the golf club not consistently returning to the same spot and making a consistently good contact with the golf ball. And one of the best ways to improve this is to control where your contact with the ground is, i.e. where the low point of the curve and the arc of the golf swing is. And this just will help you to more consistently strike the golf ball well. So I'm going to show you a little way that we can work on this. So I've got effectively a winter golf mat here, and you can see what I've done is I've, with a Sharpie pen, just put a black dot in the middle of this mat. Now the reason I'm doing this is so that I don't damage and take big divots out of the back lawn, because my wife Julie would not be particularly happy with that. Some of you may be absolutely fine to do that, in which case you can use a golf tee or use something to be able to aim at. And actually the purpose of this exercise is that you are aware of where you're striking. Now by doing this with a mat or say a bit of carpet tile or an old bit of carpet, a mark on there, and what we're going to do is going to make practice swings and focus on striking this point. Now if I had a golf ball sitting here, my golf ball would actually be sitting just slightly to the side of this dot, so that what's going to happen on the downswing is that the club head, as it's travelling down to meet that point, actually impacts with the golf ball slightly first, then reaches the low point of the arc of the swing before then returning up and through. And this is where we get this, what's classed a downward strike on a lot of iron shots. It's not created by trying to hit down, it's controlled and it's created by the low point and where the low point of the golf swing occurs. So lots of players who have a tendency of leaning back on the ball, and what that causes is that causes the club to effectively bottom out slightly early, and that can give a feeling of a heavy contact turf before ball, or a slightly thin strike because the club is starting to travel upwards again when it meets the golf ball. Now I'll talk a little bit more about that in a future video, but if I go back again just to let you see this exercise, if I pop the mat down, I'm focusing on the spot on the mat, and all I'm going to do is stand and make practice swings, trying to really make contact with that spot on the mat. Now because I have a visual aid there, I can see now through the contact whether I catch a little bit early or a little bit late. What you will find is almost, say impossible, but very, very seldom you'll see a player striking after the mark. You'll find as you practice this, it'll be more likely beforehand. So once again, just focusing on the spot, make my contact. Still, even in practice swings, get used to holding the finish, because that still gives you some nice balance in your golf swing. If you find yourself swinging, even in a practice swing, and losing balance at the end of the swing, then more than likely you are also out of balance at impact. So holding the finish is not all about making a posy finish and holding. It's really about having balance here. Tends to indicate you had more balance at impact. Now, all I want you to do when you have some time now is stand and make plenty practice swings, controlling and watching and being conscious of where you are striking on that mat. If you're finding yourself bottoming the swing out early, so possibly catching the back edge of the mat, or missing the tee if you're doing it that way, more often than not, that will come from one of two things, and that is either an excessive sway to the side on the backswing, and then not leaving yourself enough time to return back at impact. And remembering that at impact, you're not only trying to get back to where you started the swing, ideally you will actually be slightly to the target side. And again, this is what helps us to strike the turf slightly post golf ball. So if you find yourself bottoming out early, what to get a feel of as you reach the top of the backswing, just get that feeling of your weight shifting onto your lead foot and your lead leg a little bit earlier. And also, as you reach the top of the backswing, trying to feel that your weight is a little bit more even by that point and not excessivly onto your trail leg. So again, as I reach the top, I have the feeling of the weight moving forwards. As the weight moves forwards towards the target, the low point of the arc of your swing also moves towards the target. So making sure that your practice swings always have a purpose. So not just aimlessly practice swinging, but instead be very focused on the point of the ground where you're trying to strike, and this is really going to improve your contact with the golf ball. So I hope you enjoyed that. I've got more videos coming. We'll get trying to say a daily video coming up with lots more hints and tips and stuff that you can work on whilst you're stuck at home in the meantime. Thanks again.